I started racing motorcycles when I was 16 years old, and at the time I had a Harley KHK, and I would be riding that in the neighborhood, sometimes driving a little fast, and you know, probably breaking a few laws maybe, and the bike was a little loud. But anyways, one day I stopped at Metal Glaze Bakery looking for my friend Lloyd Mellon, and we called him Ky. Well, he wasn't there, so I went to his house, which is 2 doors over there, and I knocked on the door, and this guy comes to the door, and he was drunk, and I says, "Is Ky here?" And he says, "Ky who?" I says, "Ky, my friend, Ky, Lloyd Mellon." And he says, "Who are you?" And I says, "I'm Ky Michaelson." "You're the guy raising hell around here all the time." And he just jumped all over me. And then he starts this stuff. "Well, I've never met any biker that had any guts unless he had 10 people backing him up." And I says, "Listen, I don't know who you are, but I just want to talk to my friend. But if you're so brave, why don't you jump on the back of my motorcycle?" Well, he did. So I gassed that thing up, dropped the clutch, did a wheel stand right through both the intersections of Minnehaha Parkway. And at the time, the streetcar tracks were still in there in cobblestone, so it was a little bit rough. And I was going through the gears, and now I'm going pretty darn close to 100 miles an hour. And I scream out, I sure hope nobody's coming through 42nd, because back they didn't have street stop signs and all that. Well, as it turned out, Keller grabbed me someplace where I had no other choice but to stop as fast as I could. And he jumps off that bike. "Yeah, you're crazy," and all that, you know, and he was off and out of there. Well, I took off. And I found out why he was mad at me is because my brother was also riding my motorcycle. So my brother was raising a little bit more heck than I was. But a couple of weeks later, I went to this, at the time I was underage, but I could go into this bar to get hamburgers to go. And I wanted to get some hamburgers for my family. And here's Keller sitting at the bar, and he's drunk. And he says to me, "You know, kid, you ought to settle down and get yourself a good job." And he says, "I can turn you into the world's greatest baker." Well, anyways, he offered me $1.25 an hour, which was at the time I was making 90 cents an hour, making aluminum windows, cutting parts for aluminum windows. So that was quite a raise for me. And so there I started out by first washing dishes and scrubbing the floors. And later on, I became a baker. And in fact, I turned into a very good baker. But I'll give you more stories about that later on.